Hey everyone, sorry I'm a little bit late. I just thought I'd get some colours pre-mixed because it takes me a while and I get very messy when I colour because I don't put any gloves on, and so I always end up with colour on my hands. So I thought, let me colour the darkest colours first and then I'll wash my hands quickly so my hands are all red. So in today's live, I'm just going to show you how to make the Christmas cupcake toppers that I posted earlier on. So the Snowman, Santa and the reindeer as well. So these cupcakes are all on a blue background. So I've just got some, for these ones I've used Renshaw's Extra. I like to use it with the cupcakes just because the house that I live in, it's quite an old house, it's quite cold. And so we suffer quite a bit with humidity. And I just find that this paste, it's a little bit thicker than normal Renshaw's, and I don't end up getting droopy toppers. Like, I don't know if anybody else suffers with droopy toppers, but sometimes, hi Goda, sometimes when I'm making cupcake toppers, if I leave them out to dry and then I put them on top of a cupcake, sometimes they sort of like start to droop a little bit. So I prefer the Renshaw's Extra just because I tend to find that it doesn't seem to have that problem. Congratulations on your highly commended Goda. I saw it, it was lovely. Have you seen the schedule for March? You're going to enter? So it's saying on my computer screen that I'm having trouble watching this video, but if you guys can let me know whether you can still hear me, see me. Thanks, Goda. She's in my cake room still scaring the kids. So for my cupcake toppers, I've got a set of cutters. I like to use the middle one, so it's the third size. Hi Melanie. It's the third size up, which I'm not too sure what size that is, but it's probably about just over 2 inches. Because I like to be able to see a little bit of the buttercream when the topper's on there. So I'll cut out my 3 now. Now for these ones, when I first made them about 2 years ago, it was quite a popular design that people asked if they could copy. And I think it was just because it was something a little bit different for Christmas, and sort of like the edges had like a blue ring around. And so all I did was with the light blue, so I've coloured this with the baby blue from Sugar Flare, and then I just dusted the outside just to give it sort of like a nice I guess like a wintry feel. So I've got some navy blue rainbow dust, just a tiny bit on, and then just dusted the edge. So have you seen the schedule for March, Goda? Have you decided what you want to enter? I'm undecided as yet. A lot of this won't be visible once the topper's on there. Just gives like a really nice effect. Melanie, you are a tease. What is it that you're recovering from? Good, stress? Or have you been ill? So you always use like a big brush for this type of dusting. If you use something quite thin, you'll end up getting like a really straight line, and you kind of want to blend it in a little bit. So we'll do the snowman first. That one's quite an easy one to do. And because these toppers are quite small, obviously the snowman's not going to need to be massive. I've had a few people ask me about weights for certain things, but I generally don't weigh anything. Right, the door. Bear with me, I will be back. Sorry about that. We've had a leak in the ceiling in the kitchen. So we've got a leak underneath the bath. That was the plumber who said he would be here tomorrow. But I thought that on the way home he'll just pop in and have a look. But obviously my kids are in bed, so I've said no, you can come tomorrow. So for the snowman, we're just going to roll some balls of fondant. I always roll it to the shape that I want, but then I sort of press down on the edge. I just think it looks a lot nicer when it's together, that you've got sort of like it sits more flush with the cupcake. It just gives it a bit more, I don't know what the word is, but a bit more movement, I guess. And so just pop that on the cupcake topper. A little bit more for the head. Same again, just patting down the sides. And then just a little bit of black fondant for his buttons. I think I'm going to move that down a bit. And then just re-go over. Just take that bit off the bottom like that. The plumber came, and knocked on the door to sort underneath the bath out. So because I've got quite chunky fingers, I always tend to use tools to do, like I could never rip off a tiny ball of fondant and it be any of use to me or anything like that. So I just use the scalpel tool to do it. So just flattening these with your fingers first, tiny bit of water. And then I think for the original toppers I did actual balls of fondant. All the kids are in bed. So we have a routine in my house. So the youngest kids, they go to bed at about 6:30, and usually like we have story time and stuff like that, so they're asleep for about 7. And then the eldest, he goes to bed at 8 on a school night, and then on a weekend he's allowed to stay up, but he stays up and he's in my room watching TV rather than downstairs. So some little holes in for the eyes. And then we're just going to pop these on just using a damp brush. Bedtime is the only thing that I am I'm organised with. Last week I felt like I was really organised, but I kept thinking I was one day ahead. So when I had my cake orders finished, I thought I was really sort of like on schedule, but actually I just got the day wrong. They were already a day early, just because I thought it was a day early. Hi Jennifer. So just for the mouth, it's up to you if you can be bothered to faff about with sort of like really fiddly bits, then by all means use fondant, but I know that quite a lot of people don't like to do that. Whereas me, if it's fiddly, I could sit and do it for hours. So just a little line where you want these ones to stick. And gradually just move it so it's coming up at the sides, so it's got like a little bit of a smile, like so. We'll do a little carrot nose, so a bit of orange. I always twist it back and forth between my fingers to get a sort of like a pointy shape. This one's going to be quite small. And again, if you can pick it up with your brush, just pop it on. I'll do a red hat because that's what I've already got rolled out. So, ooh. So you're not going to need much in the way of a hat. It's kind of something about that big. Honestly, me and my partner come from two different worlds because his family always have really late bedtime. So his sister's got two kids that are roughly the same age as my eldest, and they go to bed quite late. And I'm just like, no. When it gets to 6:30, I need my space from the kids, and probably they need their space from me as well. So but the eldest one's getting to that point now where he wants to stay up a bit longer because he's chatting on the phone with his friends and stuff like that. So I've got a scriber tool, and I'm just going to go along and just put some indentations in just to give it a bit more of a hat feel. So working from this bit of the hat and then coming back down. And then for the bobble on the top, a little bit of fondant, and then I've got like a really bristly brush, and I just sort of texturize the blob and then kind of just fold it in on itself. To give sort of like a ball shape, like that. A little bit of water, and just stick that on like that. And then again, if you can be bothered to fiddle some little balls of snow. I'm starting to feel bad now about my kids going to bed so early. What time does everybody else's kids go to bed? And how old are they? So I've got a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old who we go upstairs at about 6:30. They get a story each, and then they're probably asleep for about 7 o'clock. The 6-year-old, he's asleep for 7 because his head hits the pillow and he just is straight off to sleep, whereas the 4-year-old, she just likes to mess about in bed. So just some little, it feels so unprofessional when I call them blobs, some blobs of white fondant. Or I've just been recording a voiceover for a tutorial for some weed cupcakes, and I was saying that I was rolling out some black balls, and I had to stop recording because my 11-year-old was laughing at me. So I like things to have odd numbers. I don't know whether it's an actual thing or an OCD thing, but I have to have sort of, they can be it just looks better when there's odd numbers. I can't even try to explain it. So there. And we'll do him a little scarf. How old do your kids go to? What time do they go to bed? Okay, so quite thin for the scarf. Doesn't need to be too big. And then again, just marking some lines to make it look a bit, I guess, knitted, more fabricy. And we're going to go, we'll do this bit hanging down. Like so. And then we'll do this bit going across. So there's the snowman. Oh wow, Boxing Day. So what do you do for Christmas then? Do you have 2 sets of presents, or does he just get one big pile of presents? Because my middle one, his birthday's on the 12th of January, and so usually he's got what he wanted for Christmas, and so we end up kind of putting money aside for him to spend sort of like middle of the year. So I've got some skin tone sugar flare. We're just going to use this for Santa's face. It's amazing, isn't it, how different they all sleep. My eldest is quite good. He, will fall asleep quite quickly. My middle one, he falls asleep quite quickly. And the youngest, she's just, you've seen videos of her, she's going to be a party animal, that one. So we're going to roll out some skin tone, and then just with the smaller size, that because his birthday is so near Christmas, we should just get one present, like one set of presents, and then be done with it. I can't seem to do that. It doesn't seem fair, because the other ones obviously don't get that. So I'm going to take a little bit off the bottom. Oh, thank you, Marlene. She's a handful, is that one. She really is. It's going to make it a little bit smaller. And she's so bossy. She definitely rules the roost, does that one. So this is going to form the basis of our face for Santa. We're not going to see very much of this bit because obviously he's going to have his hat on, which is going to come to about here, and then obviously he's going to have his beard as well. So for the beard, obviously just white fondant. We're just going to roll it out, and then with the cutters that we've already used, we're just going to cut the beard. So just with this side this time, like so. And then just level it off, because obviously we're not going to want to use all of that. So like so, tucking it in at the sides. I think I do need some new cutters because they tend to be a bit fluffy, you know, where it's not cut properly. So I just go over that with a brush and it seems to tuck all of those bits in. So you don't really see too much of that. We've got the eyes, which I like to put them quite close together for Santa. And then just a little bit of black. Probably do half of that. And then I like to sort of roll them into kind of like an oval shape, so they're not perfectly round. I am so down for doing Zoom one day. We should have like a... I'm sure that at some point during lockdown there was a Zoom quiz night. That could be quite fun to do. I think it was organised originally by Rosie from Cake Masters, and I think it went on for quite a couple of weeks. I'm sure that I saw Corinna dressed up on more than one occasion for it. I think they had like themed pub quiz nights or something like that. So I'm going to put some like little white dots in the eyes. This is just for the light reflection. I just feel like once they have this bit in, they kind of look a bit more alive, I guess. So again, just a little bit of water to stick them on. They need to go in the same position on each eye. Like so. So Santa's got quite a big nose. To be honest, I don't think I've ever done a quiz night either, although I think it's quite an English thing to do, to be honest. I was originally due to do the one that Rosie did, but I'm sure that it was like 5 o'clock on a Sunday or something like that, 6 o'clock on a Sunday, and that's when my kids go to bed. So that's how the nose is going to look when it's on. So before we stick that on, we're just going to do his tash. So a little bit of fondant, and we're going to roll it so it's kind of like a bit pointy at one side, a bit fatter at the other, and then this bit's going to sort of bend over like so. Make it a little bit longer. So flatten it down. You can put some lines on it if you wanted, just to make it look like it's got a bit of movement. And then we're going to twist this bit in on itself. Try to make sure that you can't see the bottom line of this underneath it. And then we're just going to do the same for the other side. This is where I usually get one that's way bigger than the other, and I have to sort of redo it, which if I weighed it like everybody is asking me to do all the time, it probably wouldn't happen. So I haven't posted it in the competitions group, Goda, because I didn't know that's what people were doing. But I think I have posted it in quite a few groups. It got removed from one group, so they said it wasn't appropriate. to be honest, I haven't seen very many of the entries, and I'm not sure whether that's because people haven't posted it or I don't know. I thought there would have been like a public page for them. So a little hole with ball tool just for the nose, and then we'll just pop that in like so. So now for the ears, and then we'll do the hat. Well, we'll do the hat first. I like to put the ears on last. So get red fondant, and then we're just going to use this cutter, which is what we use for the face. Cut sort of like a half circle. Like that. A little bit big. It's crazy because every time after Cake International, I'll start again. Every time after Cake International, I always seem to get like a heap of friend requests from people. I have literally done, I think this is my 4th live. I'm not a lover. I'm not a lover. The YouTube tutorials are different because you can work at your own speed. If you make a mistake, you can start again. If you, you know, if it takes 5 hours, you can edit it out and stuff like that. So, but yeah. So we're gonna do the top of his hat, bottom of his hat. I'm sure that I joined the official page. I know I joined one the other day. I don't know if it's been accepted yet. They asked me for my order number, which obviously I've got, but I can't remember what that is. And so I just I just wrote, you know who I am, let me in, or something like that. I'm still waiting to be accepted. So we're going to cut like a kind of triangle, and this is going to be for his hat. So I usually like it to come off to one side like that. There's quite a lot of people posted their results in that one then. So a bit of white just for the fluffy bit on the hat. So this one I tend to leave quite thick. And then again with the firm brush, I'll just go along and sort of like, I think they call it stippling. Do you know what it is, Marlene? I'm trying to, I think we've got quite a lot of people in the group and it's very, very quiet. And so I'm trying to get like a little bit more interaction with you guys and yeah, make it a little bit more alive because it's quite quiet, this one, and not very many people even post their work or anything like that. And I think it's just become a page where people share quite a lot of useless information, really. I find myself removing quite a lot of posts. So we're going to pop that on the hat. I'm going to trim off this bit. So again, just like with the beard, you want to have it come down a little bit so that it's you're not seeing the red bit of the hat underneath. Yeah, I think we've got like 6,000 members in here, and I think, I don't know, maybe sort of 20 people post or use the group. It's never been a group where people sort of like come for help or anything like that, which is a bit strange, really. So before we put the dangly bit on, ears, So try to get 2 balls the same size. I'm going to give him some quite big ears. To be honest, I'm actually quite shocked they're not shaking right now, Marlene, because in my cake room the radiator has stopped working, and so it literally is like an ice box in here. And the other day when I was doing the live for Cake International, my hands were so cold, they were getting so stiff. That's how I realised it wasn't working. So ears wise, I just roll some sort of like balls of fondant, and then just with the brush just popping it in like that, and then just pinching it together, and that's going to be his ear. You will have to do a live one day, Goda, in here, and pinch it on like that. Just a little bit of water to stick that on either side. I did have quite a few requests for this, for these toppers as a tutorial when they first came out, but it's one of those things. I don't do Christmas cupcakes anymore, so I don't know about anybody else what you're offering for Christmas this year, but I don't offer cupcakes, and so I've never sort of made them again. So just using your, I never know what to call this, is it a leafing tool, a Dresden tool, the one with the sharp side, just to sort of tuck it in on the side. And then for the same as we did for this little snowman hat, we're gonna roll a ball and then stipple it. And then just sort of fold it in on itself, like so. A little bit of water to attach that on. So the more things that this is attached to, the more secure it'll be. So I've wet the hat, I've wet the curl of the moustache, and then I'm just going to pop that on. And then a tiny little bit of blush. So just got a little brush. What are you offering this year for Christmas then, Goda? This year I'm doing, like the Halloween boxes that I'm doing Christmas ones. So just the blush, a little bit on his either side of his cheeks. And then a bit on his top of his nose. Yeah, I'm doing Christmas boxes, and then I'm doing the chocolate bombs as well. So I've just, Sonia helped me make some chocolate bombs. She sort of sent me her instructions on how to do it. And so I've been making those, and to be honest, they're really popular. They don't take a lot to make either. It's just so much quicker than making X amount of boxes of cupcake toppers. To be honest, Marlene, when I did make the Christmas cupcakes, I did used to sell loads and loads of them, but I don't know, I just ran out of time. This year, I think I've got a wedding cake order for Christmas Day. So it must be a Asian couple that are getting married, and I told them that they could have the cake for Christmas Eve, because obviously I've got the boxes to deliver in the morning, and she's asked if she can collect it on Christmas Day. It's only a small obviously because of Corona, it's just a two-tiered cake, a 6 and an 8 inch. So some little snowballs. Again, I like them odd numbers, so we'll go for 7. Like that's their Santa. I did some cakes last year as well, but I did like one that was decorated, and then I did quite a lot of just plain fruit cakes just with the almonds on the top, and they were really popular. So Rudolph, I think Rudolph was a really popular design for these cupcakes, more so than any of the other toppers. So I've got some brown that I've coloured. Gone for a bit of a lighter Rudolph this time. So with this one, we can only really see Rudolph from the nose up. So the cupcake topper that I've cut is with this one. And so what we're going to do is we'll cut out the circle, and then we just kind of want half of the face, like that. And then we're just going to pop that on the bottom here. So I'm probably going to use less of that than what I've cut. And so just using the guide that we've already got, just going to chop that excess off. Again, like, it doesn't matter if it's covered this part, because obviously they're not going to see that anywhere. So a red nose. You can gloss this if you want. I've got some the confectioner's glaze that I think I did actually put on the ones that I sold. So big red nose at the bottom. We're going to do the ears first. So just try to get 2 bits of fondant that are roughly the sort of same size. And then just roll it back and forth between your thumb and middle finger, and you'll get sort of like a, I guess like a teardrop shape. So you could do it with your finger and your thumb as well if you wanted your forefinger. And then we're just going to flatten those down with this tool, marking the middle of the ears. And then it's up to you where you want to place them. So I think on the original cupcakes I did them and they were kind of up in the air, but I think for this one I might do it a bit droopy on the side, like that. Then we've got the antlers. So I've just got the same brown. I'm just going to add a bit of black into it to make it a bit darker. To be honest, Gordon, the majority of the time, if you used to ask my partner if I can work and talk at the same time, he would say no, because I get so engrossed into what I'm doing that he will talk to me and I will completely miss what he said. A little bit more brown in there because it's gone a bit too dark. So I will try to make this a weekly thing about being live. So if you've got any suggestions as to what you guys would like to see or talk about, feel free to let me know. Are my kids interested in this? So my youngest one will sit and roll out. She always comes, and if I'm working with black, she'll come and stand at the side to me and she'll be like, oh, I wish I had some black, as kids do. Or, you know, if I'm working with yellow, she'll be like, oh, I wish I had some yellow. So she is really, really into it. The eldest one will sit and mess about. The middle one can take it or leave it. The two older ones did actually enter for Cake International when it was it was due to be at London in April, but obviously it got cancelled due to Corona, so they didn't get a chance to do it. But I think Melanie was saying that she's going to arrange sort of like a separate show for the kids or something like that, which I think will be quite good. So for the antlers, you could cut it out if you wanted to. I just find it easier to sort of like roll a bit of a shape that's sort of like fatter at the top than it is at the bottom, and then we'll stick those on. I think the eldest one is going to be quite artistic. He likes to sit and draw and stuff like that. He loves baking. They all love baking. Do you know what, God? It's an amazing experience. It's really, really lovely to see everybody, and you know, like everybody there has got the same interest. We've all come there to spend a lot of money and meet up with friends. And last year was the first time that I went to Cake Masters, that was a really good experience as well. So I was gutted this year when obviously it got cancelled, and then there was no Cake Masters or any kind of meet up. But I think when this is all over and we actually get to meet up again, I think it would be just crazy, a crazy group of women. So I've rolled some smaller versions of the teardrops, and these are just going to be what we stick on for the antlers. Why have you never had the courage to go? Do you mean the courage to enter, or just go and meet new people? Everybody is really lovely there. So we're just going to stick those on randomly. Again, odd numbers. Ooh. Like so. So for the eyes, ball tool, just go sort of side to side again. So we're not making perfect circles, but we're making sort of like an oval shape. I don't know why you say you've got no courage to enter, because you did amazing with your entry online. And then roll some balls roughly the same size again, and this is going to be for the eyes. And then again, before we pop them in, roll them into like an oval. I guess they look like, they remind me of Tic Tacs, a smaller version of Tic Tacs. Honestly, God, the morning of the results is just amazing, because everybody is there super early to see what they got. And it's just aisle from aisle, it's just one celebration after the other, which is something you don't obviously get online. At the show, Marlene, you choose your category. So if you go onto the website, the Cake International website, you'll be able to see they have like loads of different categories, from flowers to you know, decorative exhibit, which is you'll get given a certain board size that it needs to be on, but what goes in there is completely up to you. And I think last year they had sort of like a beginner's class. If you've been making cakes for a certain amount of time, you went into the beginner's class, but they just have some of the most amazing cakes, and just how some people come up with some of these ideas is just beyond me. I'm the type of person, I need to see something before I make it. So if I'm making a face with a certain expression, I have to have a picture of that face. I can't make up some of the crazy stuff that people do. Like Eyeliner, she just makes amazing stuff. Her imagination is wild. So just pop in the whites in the eyes. So I like to use the ball tool just to stretch out and make them roughly the same size. So we want, with this one, I think I did it so it looked like it was peeking over the cupcake. So blue for the eyes. So I always prefer, unless it's for like a bust, I always prefer for cupcakes and figures to do kind of like whatever colour the eye is going to be, that's the colour that I'm going to do in fondant first. But I only use a really small amount of fondant, so from the side you're not going to see that sort of like step. Obviously if it was for a competition or something I would paint them on, but because it's just for cupcakes, I don't bother. So flatten them down a little bit with your finger first, and then a little bit of water. We're going to stick those on. And then with either a Dresden tool, the fatter end of the Dresden tool, you're going to push that into place. Like so. Just find this the easiest way to do something like this. Like that. Black, the eyes, for the middle of the eyes. A little bit more for that one. So when do you guys usually decorate your cakes? Do you do them on an evening? Do you do them in a during the day? I must admit, my partner works nights, so when he's working nights, that's when I will tend to do my stuff on a night. But then when he's at home, I tend to try and get it done during the day. So again, just exactly what we did with the blue. Just pushing it in to the position that you want it. Like so. Again, with a really thin brush, we're going to paint the edges of the eyes. So a little bit of water, and then draw around the edge first. And this is the same method that I use to paint any eyes, so even the ones that I use for the bust sort of cakes that I've been doing. So painting around the edges first, and then with a bigger brush, take off the majority of the excess of the water, and then you're just going to pull that colour in slightly. Like so. Oh. You can go in, and if you feel like it's a little bit too dark, you can just take off a little bit of the colour with the brush, the thin one. Like that. And then we're going to do the eyeliner. So just some sausages that are quite pointy at one side. A little bit of water. I don't know how you do 11. I would be going crazy by now. At 11 o'clock. Everybody's snoring upstairs and it's just gone 9 o'clock here. So pointy side on towards the middle. And then we're just gonna cut off at an angle. Flick that bit out. Oh my gosh, 3 years old, 11 o'clock. Does she sleep in though? Because mine could go to bed at that age, mine could go to bed at 11 and still get up at 6:30. Like my 4-year-old, not my 4-year-old, she can go to bed at sort of like 7 o'clock. She didn't wake up till 9. The 6-year-old, he gets up at 5 o'clock every morning, regardless as to what time he goes to bed. So if he doesn't go to bed early and he gets up at 5 o'clock, he's just a proper twat for the next day or two. So usually for this I use the Saraceno modelling paste, or Saraceno, however you say it, just because it takes a lot more heat than this does. This is just normal fondant and it gets really sticky and I lose the shape, but it's that cold in here that I wouldn't be able to break down the fondant. Wow, 7. My middle one will be 7 in January. The youngest one, she can stay up and party and she'll sleep it off. You know, she'll get up according to the time that she went to bed. So if she went to bed late, she'll get up late. But the other two are just not like that. They get up early. You should invest, Marlene. It's amazing. It's doesn't dry out for like days, but it's sort of, when you're modelling with it, if you want to, I don't know, say like you was making a model and they had a dress on and you just did it all as one, it will hold its shape really well. So just a little bit of fondant with some honey gold. So this is where I tend to get messy because I don't wear gloves. I get it from a local cake shop, Marlene, and but you can also get it from like Vanilla Valley, Vanilla Valley, or Cake Decorating Company, or anywhere that you kind of buy your cake stuff from. This is my phone Goda, and it's on one of those Archon mounts. So it's like above my head. Not above my head, above my hands. So a little bit of blondish hair. And what I'm going to do is I'll roll these bits out and leave them just to cool down a bit. So you want some shapes like this. Yeah, I ordered mine from Vanilla Valley. It's quite tough to get out of the... It comes in a block if you buy it in a tub or in a little packet. And I sometimes struggle to cut a piece off because it's quite firm. But once you've popped it in the microwave for like 5 seconds and moulded it together, it's actually really nice to work with. And it doesn't crack. Like, I think when I very first started, I did the Renshaw's flour and modelling paste, and you had to work with that so quickly to be able to get anything done with it, whereas this one isn't that. No, the microphone is just part of is my phone, so I'm just using the phone to record. It's got an attachment for a... Looks like I'm getting blue everywhere. It's got an attachment for an iPad, so that you could record from 2 different angles. But I need to have a look on how to set that up. I'm still learning all of those bits. So a little bit of super white, just a little bit of water into a bit of the powder. Oh, thank you. It's the iPhone 11 Pro that I've got, which I think you can sometimes hear the traffic outside on it. So it does pick up quite a lot of good sound. Some of the pink dust, where did I put that? There it is. So again, similar to what we did for Santa, a little bit of blush on the cheeks. And then with this tool, just a few little bits in. And then a little bit of water over the top. And then we're just gonna, the piece of fondant we've got, you're just gonna, I just curl it with my hands to make a little twirl. Thank you, Goda. This one's a little bit rushed, but it'll do. That's so cute. So again, odd numbers, just sort of bulk them together. And it's up to you whether you kind of want them to go across, down the middle, a little bit either side. I'm all about a side fringe. So just trimming off the excess and popping that on. Just moving it about until you're happy with it. And then just a few little snowdrops for the background. Trying to figure out how to stream to YouTube and Facebook at the same time. I figured out how to save the video from here and then post it onto YouTube, but not how to do both at the same time. And then I'm just going to pop these on. If you order, if you spend so much a month each with them, Marlene, it automatically goes onto a business account. So if you spend, I think it's up to 300, you get the first tier of discount, and then if you spend £600 within a 6-month period of time, you get the next tier of discount, if I'm right. Haven't decided yet, Goda. The only thing I've seen is the Kama Sutra models, and I've seen a lot of Indian sculptures with penises out. So other than that, I'm a bit stuck really, because usually I pick something that's a bit, I don't know, weird and gothic-y and just a bit, I don't know, weird and random, but it just seems to be quite very pretty and stuff like that. So I'm a bit stuck as to what I'm going to do for that one yet. I don't fully know. Yeah, Marlene, if you go onto the Vanilla Valley website, I think you can register for, I'm sure that you can apply for a warehouse account, and what they'll do is they'll review the last 6 months of your account. So if in the last 6 months you spent £600, you'll go onto the top tier. Yeah, you go onto the top tier of the discount. So I think you obviously see how much that you save on each item and stuff like that, but it's worth just popping them a message, because I think they said that they automatically do it, but sometimes they overlook it. Good night, Adelina. Have a nice evening. I find that Vanilla Valley, Marlene, is probably one of the places that I shop most of the time, actually. Although I have ordered from Cake Decorating Company quite a lot as well. So there you go, guys. There's the 3 toppers. So if I can think of something else to do for next week, I'll probably be live again. I've got a Hey Dougie cake to make in a couple of weeks. and I'll probably get those toppers out of the way this week. So at some point I'll probably be live again just to show you how to make the Hey Dougie again, or maybe some of his friends, because I've got a tutorial for the Hey Dougie over on my channel. But yeah, if there's anything you guys think of that you would like to see, or you know, anything that you're stuck with, if you let me know, and then I can always think about putting something together. I've got a couple of weeks where I'm quite quiet, so I'm looking for stuff to do to fill my time. But yeah, thanks for joining me this evening. It's been lovely as always, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye.